परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिम् द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षीभूतम् भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितम् सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। नित्यं शुद्धं निराकारं निराभासं निरञ्जनं नित्यबोधं चिदानन्दं गुरुं ब्रह्म नमाम्यहम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं येन कृत्स्नं चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिद्रूपेण परिव्याप्तं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सर्वश्रुतिशिरोरत्न समुद्भासितमूर्तये आत्मज्ञानाग्निदानेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चैतन्यः शाश्वतः शान्तो व्योमातीतो निरञ्जनः बिन्दुनादकलातीत तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढस्तत्त्वमाला विभूषित भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाता च तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अनेकजन्मसम्प्राप्त कर्मेन्धनविदाहिने आत्मज्ञानाग्निदानेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। शोषणं भवसिन्धोश्च प्रापणं सारसम्पदः यस्य पादोदकं सम्यक् तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
So welcome everyone and happy Diwali. Thank you for joining on Diwali day. We didn't expect many people to be turning up today. But yeah, glad that at least a few of us are here. So yes.
Happy
Hello,
Diwali, Monica.
Yeah, happy Diwali to all.
Happy Diwali to everybody.
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali.
We are fortunate to meet you on this Diwali, to have a special Diwali.
Yeah, we are fortunate that we have words of Mother Shri Aurobindo to
Yeah,
keep us alight, you know.
you're right.
Yeah.
The true meaning of the light.
Yes, yes. True, very true. Yeah. So I thought that we can today maybe take this opportunity to read a few words by Mother Shri Aurobindo on light. There may be many more, but I'll just share whatever I was able to kind of fetch. And also read something from the Mother book by Shri Aurobindo, because he describes the aspect of Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, and on Diwali we give a lot of importance to the aspect of Mahalakshmi specifically, or Lakshmi ji. So we can find out the true meaning, and yeah, we can see whatever resonates with us and take something home from there. Yeah, so just a moment. So this we will do later, but here we have something from the Mother which I found was very inspirational. So if anyone feels like reading step by step, we can take turns to read all these bits. So
Monica ji, I will read.
Yes, please go ahead.
When I spoke of being faithful to the light of the soul and the divine call, I was not referring to anything in the past or to any lapse on your part. I was simply suggesting the great need in all crises and attacks to refuse to listen to any suggestions, impulses, lures, and to oppose to them all the call of the truth, the imperative beckoning of the light. In all doubt and depression, to say, I belong to the divine, I cannot fail. To all suggestions of impurity and unfitness, to reply, I am the child of immortality chosen by Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. I have but to be true to myself and to them. Victory is sure. Even if I fell, I would be sure to rise again. To all impulsions to depart and serve some other ideal, to reply, this is the greatest, this is the truth, this alone can satisfy the soul within me. I, I will endure through all tests and tribulations to the very end of the divine journey. This is what I mean by faithfulness to the light and the call.
Yeah, thank you. So this I found like very beautiful, because it gives us a lot of certitude on the path, and there are of course from time to time in our life we have opportunities or moments where we are kind of feeling like a failure, or nothing is happening, what should be right or should happen, and in all doubt and depression, to say I belong to the divine, I cannot fail to all suggestions of impurity and unfitness, to reply, I am a child of immortality, chosen by Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. I have but to be true to myself and to them. The victory is sure. Even if I fell, I would be sure to rise again. So, this is what Mother means here in this context by the faithfulness to the light and the call, that we don't allow any depression, any darkness to overrule us, although they may come from time to time, but still we fight in one sense, and we always turn towards the light rather than turning towards the darkness and being overwhelmed by that. So this we can kind of keep close to us, keep reminding us from time to time. And then there is this beautiful poem by Sri Aurobindo. Some of us may have read it.
Yes.
So if any one of you would like to read this poem, please go ahead.
I read, Monica.
Yes, please.
Light, endless light. Darkness has room no more. Life's ignorant gulfs give up their secrecy. The huge inconscient depths, unplumbed before, lie glimmering in vast expectancy. Light, timeless light, immutable and apart, the holy sealed mysterious doors unclose. Light, burning light, from the infinite's diamond heart, quivers in my heart where blooms the deathless rose. Light, in its rapture, leaping through the nerves, light, brooding light, each smitten passionate cell, in a mute blaze of ecstasy, preserves a living sense of the imperishable. I move in an ocean of stupendous light, joining my depths to his eternal height. Open your heart, and the light will enter and dwell within it. Should I read forward also?
Yeah, thank you, Anjali ji. So the poem ended here.
Yes.
Yeah, so rest are a few things that I found on
Hmm.
the Mother, yes, on light. So these lines, I think this must also be somewhere recited by Tara Didi. It would be nice to hear it in her voice also, but so far maybe it's not available online. So we'll find some other day where we can listen to this in her voice. Yeah, light, endless light, darkness has room no more. Yeah, and then there are a few lines by Mother on, again, maybe I can, yes, this much is enough. So yeah, if some of us or any of us who is ready can read these lines at different occasions given by the Mother on light, and also continue where he shares about how can I receive Sri Aurobindo's light in the mind. So one can continue here also, and we can just read it all at once and just make it easier. Yes, anyone who feels ready can take this all up next.
Open your heart, and the light will enter and dwell within it. 12th January 1948. Life is a journey in the darkness of the night. Wake up to the inner light. 14th April 1954. A new light is dawning on the world. Wake up and unite to receive it and welcome it. 1959. In their blindness, men leave the light and go to the darkness to obtain knowledge. How can I receive Sri Aurobindo's light in the mind? It can always come if you aspire patiently. But the basic condition, if you want that light, is to get rid of all other mental influences. 29th May 1932. 30th May 1932. What is the meaning of to get rid of all other mental influences? Is it this that I had better not read any other books except Sri Aurobindo's, or not try to learn anything by hearing or admiring others? It is not a question of reading books or learning facts. When a woman loves or admires, her mind is instinctively molded by the one she loves or admires, and this influence can last after the feeling itself has gone or appears to be gone. This does not refer to excess influence merely. It is a general rule given to keep yourself from any other admiration or influence.
Yeah, thank you. So again, this is also beautiful because, like earlier times, even now, like when women were pregnant, they were asked to look at good pictures, like say Krishna's photo or uh, whoever like good people or avatars or deities or gods, goddesses. And ऐसा कहा जाता था that if we look at those pictures, then it is possible that that vision influences the baby. And it does actually. Mother at another instance shares that there was some again a child who was totally unrelated in appearance to the mother, and then he looked something different. I don't know, remember the exact anecdote, but their mother shares that actually the mother was looking at a particular photo during pregnancy for a very long time, and that impacted how the child looked like. So here, not only just appearance, but whoever we think about, whoever we give our thoughts to, feelings to, whoever we are open to in our influence, there we get molded. And in India, we also say, I don't know about outside, but in India, we also say that if husband and wife live like they are together for a long time, they actually look like a brother and sister.
Brother and sister.
So it's very interesting how we are always influenced by these things which we don't know actually that we are getting influenced from. So if we have to get influenced, why not get a influence which is beneficial for us? So that is what here is shared, that be rid of any other influence, to get rid of all other mental influences. Hmm? So he says in the first one, it can always come. Sri Aurobindo's light in the mind can always come if you aspire patiently. But the basic condition, if you want that light, is to get rid of all other mental influences. Hmm? So that is where we see to think of the divine, to feel of the divine all the time. है ना, मदर कहती है कि whenever you have empty pockets of time, think of me. So we have to develop good pastimes, rather than again going in our stories and what we want from people in this world and situations in this world, which is never ending and doesn't give us any happiness or contentment. So we can choose to develop good habits where, you think of the mother, you think of Sri Aurobindo, you think of, your feelings are going towards both of them. And say all the mistakes, masters, whoever one resonates with, one can turn one's thoughts and feelings and totally rely upon them. It's a very good pastime, that we can develop, whether we are walking or waiting for a friend or whatever. So anything here? Anyone wants to add on or share?
Yeah, nothing of much value, but while we were discussing, how they say the husband and wife look like brother and sister sometimes I've heard. So in the Western countries, this is also very common that they say you start to look like your dog because here, that attachment and that company is quite strong. So the first time I heard, I found it shocking, but it's a very commonly used fact that this is what it happens.
Very
Yeah,
true.
but
Better have a smart dog. No, very true, because I have seen in my apartments what you are sharing. Uh, there was a lady who actually exactly looked like her dog. So,
mm,
yeah, there
Now
is.
I also remember one I knew,
Yeah,
and we used to say that he looks like his dog. He was so attached. Yes, yes. Now I understand. Right.
yeah, very interesting.
Mm.
So, just one last poem we can take, and then we can move to The Mother by Sri Aurobindo. So, this also I found, Bugles of Light. I found it to be nice. Little short poem which we can take. Anyone wants to read it out?
yeah, Snehi, do you have the capacity to read? Would you like to read? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. So I'll read Bugles of Light. Bugles of light, bugles of light. Blare through the mist and the darkness. Children of immortality, we march through the abyss and the shadow. Over us hustle the feet of the fates and the wings of the Erinis. In front is the screech of the death horn. Behind the red-eyed monster hunts and howls the tornado. Our steps search for the road and find the morass and the pitfall. Follow the gleam, follow the gleam to the city of God and the pavements of dream, buggles of light, buggles of light, shatter the heart of the darkness.
Yeah. I think it is pronounced as bugles of light. This is a new word for me also, but yeah.
Like in Robin Hood, they used to have that's the
Ah,
bugle, right?
bugle. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Bugles of light.
bugles, yeah,
Ah.
bugle, sorry.
Okay. So let us take up something from the mother, which is always, always very beautiful to read, very, very revelatory all the time. And some of us may have gone through this little book, The Mother by Sri Aurobindo. So I was thinking that we can actually touch upon all the aspects of the Divine Mother if we have time. If those of us who want to leave early, please feel free to leave. Just for the joy of it that we read, and also when we read, something goes inside and maybe we remember better. Yeah. So we can start from here, and one by one, all of us can read. I can also read. We can take longer bits, like 2 pages at once, we can read 2 or 3 pages, and then if possible we can also finish the book. It's around 26 pages or so. If not, then we can just read something little and then end. So let us go ahead. I'll read first and then we can one by one take turns. The one whom we adore as the Mother is the divine conscious force that dominates all existence. One and yet so many-sided that to follow her movement is impossible even for the quickest mind and for the freest and most vast intelligence. The Mother is the consciousness and force of the Supreme, and far above all she creates. But something of her ways can be seen and felt through her embodiments, and the more seizable because more defined and limited temperament and action of the goddess forms in whom she consents to be manifest to her creatures. There are two powers alone that alone can effect in their conjunction the great and difficult thing which is the aim of our endeavor, a fixed and unfailing aspiration that calls from below, and a supreme grace from above that answers. But the supreme grace will act only in the conditions of the light and the truth. It will not act in conditions laid upon it by the falsehood and the ignorance. For if it were to yield to the demands of the falsehood, it would defeat its own purpose. These are the conditions of the light and truth, the soul conditions, under which the highest force will descend. And it is only the very highest supramental force descending from above and opening from below that can victoriously handle the physical nature and annihilate its difficulties. There must be a total and sincere surrender. There must be an exclusive self-opening to the divine power. There must be a constant and integral choice of the truth that is descending, a constant and integral rejection of the falsehood of the mental, vital, and physical powers and appearances that still rule the earth nature. The surrender must be total and seize all the parts of the being. It is not enough that the psychic should respond and the higher mental accept, or even the inner vital submit and the inner physical consciousness feel the influence. There must be in no part of the being, even the most external, anything that makes a reserve, anything that hides behind doubts, confusions, and subterfuges, anything that revolts or refuses. If a part of the being, if part of the being surrenders, but another part reserves itself, follows its own way, or makes its own conditions, then each time that happens, you are yourself pushing the divine grace away from you. If behind your devotion and surrender, you make a cover for your desires, egoistic demands, and vital insistences, if you put these things in place of the true aspiration and or mix them with it and try to impose them on the divine Shakti, then it is idle to invoke the divine grace to transform you. If you open yourself on one side or in one part to the truth, and on another side are constantly opening the gates to hostile forces, it is vain to expect that the divine grace will abide with you. You must keep the temple clean if you wish to install their divine living presence. If each time the power intervenes and brings in the truth, you turn your back on it and call in again the falsehood that has been expelled, it is not the divine grace that you must blame for failing you, but the falsity of your own will and the imperfection of your surrender. If you call for the truth, and yet something in you chooses what is false, ignorant, and undivine, or even simply is unwilling to reject it altogether, then always you will be open to the attack, and the grace will recede from you. Detect first what is false or obscure in you and persistently reject it. Then alone can you rightly call for the divine power to transform you. Do not imagine that truth and falsehood, light and darkness, surrender and selfishness can be allowed to dwell together in the house consecrated to the divine. The transformation must be integral, and integral, therefore, the rejection of all that withstands it. Reject the false notion that the divine power will do and is bound to do everything for you at your demand. And even though you do not satisfy the conditions laid down by the Supreme, make your surrender true and complete, and then only will all else be done for you. Reject too the false and indolent expectation that the divine power will do even the surrender for you. The Supreme demands your surrender to her, but does not impose it. You are free at every moment till the irrevocable transformation comes to deny and to reject the divine, or to recall your self giving if you are willing to suffer the spiritual consequence. Your surrender must be self made and free. It must be the surrender of a living being, not of an inert automaton or mechanical tool. I'll just finish this and then we can go ahead. An inert passivity is constantly confused with the real surrender. But out of an inert passivity, nothing true and powerful can come. It is the inert passivity of physical nature that leaves it at the mercy of every obscure and undivine influence. A glad and strong and helpful submission is demanded to the working of the divine force, the obedience of the illumined disciple of the truth, of the inner warrior who fights against obscurity and falsehood, of the faithful servant of the divine. This is the true attitude, and only those who can take and keep it preserve a faith unshaken by disappointments and difficulties, and shall pass through the ordeal to the supreme victory and the great transmutation. So here we come to aspiration, rejection, surrender. So anyone reading next can maybe take up, these two bits, the third part and the fourth part. Whoever reads next.
I read one.
Yes, please, go ahead.
So this is the third one. The third chapter.
Yeah, from third, and you can read third and fourth both.
Okay. To walk through life armored against all fear, peril, and disaster, only two things are needed, two that go always together: the grace of the Divine Mother, and on your side, an inner state made up of faith, sincerity, and surrender. Let your faith be pure, candid, and perfect. An egoistic faith in the mental and vital being, tainted by ambition, pride, vanity, mental arrogance, vital self will, personal demand, desire for the petty satisfactions of the lower nature, is a low and smoke obscured flame that cannot burn upwards to heaven. Regard your life as given you only for the divine work and to help in the divine manifestation. Desire nothing but the purity, force, light, whiteness, calm, ananda of the divine consciousness and its insistence to transform and perfect your mind, life, and body. Ask for nothing but the divine, spiritual, and supramental truth, its realization on earth and in you and in all who are called and chosen, and the conditions needed for its creation and its victory over all opposing forces. Let your sincerity, let your sincerity and surrender be genuine and entire. When you give yourself, give completely, without demand, without condition, without reservation, so that all in you shall belong to the Divine Mother, and nothing be left to the ego or given to any other power. The more complete your faith, sincerity, and surrender, the more will grace and protection be with you. And when the grace and protection of the Divine Mother are with you, what is there that can touch you or whom need you fear? A little of it even will carry you through all difficulties, obstacles, and dangers. Surrounded by its full presence, you can go securely on your way because it is hers, careless of all menace, unaffected by any hostility, however powerful, whether from this word or from words invisible. Its touch can turn difficulties into opportunities, failure into success, and weakness into unfaltering strength. For the grace of the Divine Mother is the sanction of the Supreme, and now or tomorrow its effect is sure, a thing decreed, inevitable, and irresistible.
Uh, I think let's skip this part today. Fourth, we'll skip today, Anjali ji.
Okay,
And it's about money, but we'll take it up in some other session.
but
I,
people worship today for money only.
oh, that's a good one. I never thought of that. Let's do it
No,
then.
no, if you want to skip, you can do
No, I
that.
thought it'll come to the aspects of the mother, but we can of course take up money since you said that yes, people do actually worship. So we'll come then to sixth, the four powers of the mother. But after you
Okay,
read the part on money, I think it's a good idea. Didn't think
okay.
about that. That's a good one. Yeah, please go ahead.
Money is the visible sign of a universal force, and this force, in its manifestation on earth, works on the vital and physical planes and is indispensable to the fullness of the outer life. In its origin and its true action, it belongs to the divine. But like other powers of the divine, it is delegated here and in the ignorance of the lower nature can be usurped for the uses of the ego or held by Asuric influences and perverted to their purpose. This is indeed one of the three forces power, wealth, sex that have the strongest attraction for the human ego and the asura and are most generally sorry, misshelled and misused by those who retain them. The seekers or keepers of wealth are more often possessed rather than its possessor. Few escape entirely. A certain distorting influence is stamped on it by its long seizure and perversion by the asura. For this reason, most spiritual disciplines insist on a complete self control, detachment, and renunciation of all bondage to wealth and of all personal and egoistic desire for its possession. Some even put a ban on money and riches and proclaim poverty and bareness of life as the only spiritual condition. But this is an error. It leaves the power in the hands of the hostile forces. To reconquer it for the divine, to whom it belongs, and use it divinely for the divine life is the supramental way for the sadhak. Just a minute, I have to read from my mobile. Yes. You must neither turn with an ascetic shrinking from the money power, the means it gives and the objects it brings, nor cherish a rajasic attachment to them or a spirit of enslaving self-indulgence in their gratifications. Regard wealth simply as a power to be won back by the mother and placed it at her service. All wealth belongs to the divine, and those who hold it are trustees, not possessors. It is with them today, tomorrow it may be elsewhere. All depends on the way they discharge their trust while it is with them, in what spirit, with what consciousness in their use of it, to what purpose. In your personal use of money, look on all you have or get or bring as the mother's. Make no demand, but accept what you receive from her and use it for the purposes for which it is given to you. Be entirely selfless, entirely scrupulous, exact, careful in detail, a good trustee. Always consider that it is her possessions and not your own that you are handling. On the other hand, what you receive for her, lay religiously before her, turn nothing to your own or anybody else's purpose. Do not look up to men because of their riches or allow yourself to be impressed by the show, the power, or the influence. When you ask for the mother, you must feel that it is she who is demanding through you a very little of what belongs to her, and the man from whom you will ask will be judged by his response. If you are free from the money taint, but without any ascetic withdrawal, you will have a greater power to command the money force for the divine work. Equality of mind, absence of demand, and the full dedication of all you possess and receive, and all your power of acquisition to the divine Shakti and her work are the signs of this freedom. Any perturbation of mind with regard to money and its use, any claim, any grudging, is a sure index of some imperfection or bondage. The ideal sadhak in this kind is one who is required to live poorly, can so live, and no sense of want will affect him or interfere with the full inner play of the divine consciousness, and if he is required to live richly, can so live and never for a moment fall into desire or attachment to his wealth or to the things that he uses or servitude to self indulgence or a weak bondage to the habits that the possession of riches creates. The divine will is all for him and the divine Ananda. In the supramental creation, the money force has to be restored to the divine power and used for a true and beautiful and harmonious equipment and ordering of a new divinized vital and physical existence in whatever way the Divine Mother herself decides in her creative vision. But first it must be conquered back for her, and those will be strongest for the conquest who are in this part of their nature, strong and large and free from ego and surrendered without any claim or withholding or hesitation, pure and powerful channels for the supreme puissance.
Thank you so much. Very revelatory. Good that we read it. So I'm just skipping a bit in between, and we are coming now to the powers of the mother. Aspects of the Divine Mother. Yes, we start from here. I'm taking it from the middle, and I'm sure we all read it at our own convenience. So, but for today, I'm taking it starting from the four great aspects of the mother. This is what we want to kind of heighten us or kind of see today. Maheshwari, Mahakali, Mahasaraswati, and Mahalakshmi. So, this we will read. Yeah, anyone who wants to go next can take up, say, two powers, starting from the first paragraph, we can take two aspects of the mother.
I'll read.
Yes, please go ahead.
Four great aspects of the mother. Four of her leading powers and personalities have stood in front in her guidance of this universe and in her dealings with the terrestrial plane. One is her personality of calm wideness and comprehending wisdom and tranquil benignity and inexhaustible compassion and sovereign and surpassing majesty and all ruling greatness. Another embodies her power of splendid strength and irresistible passion, her warrior mood, her overwhelming will, her impetuous swiftness, and the world shaking force. The third is vivid and sweet and wonderful, with her deep secret of beauty and harmony and defined rhythm, her intricate and subtle opulence, her compelling attraction and captivating grace. The fourth is equipped with her close and profound capacity of intimate knowledge and careful, flawless work and quiet and exact perfection in all things. Wisdom, strength, harmony, perfection are their several attributes, and it is these powers that they bring with them into the world, manifest in the human disguise in their vibhutis, and shall found in the divine degree of their ascension in those who can open their earthly nature to the direct and living influence of the mother. To the four, we give the four great names Maheshwari, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati. Imperial Maheshwari is seated in the wideness above the thinking mind and will and sublimates and greatens them into wisdom and largeness of floods with a splendor beyond them. For she is the mighty and wise who opens us to the supramental infinities and cosmic vastness, to the grandeur, to the supreme light, to the treasure house of miraculous knowledge, to the measureless movement of the mother's eternal forces. Tranquil is she and wonderful, great and calm forever. Nothing can move her, or nothing can move her because all wisdom is in her. Nothing is hidden from her that she chooses to know. She comprehends all things and all beings and their nature and what moves them and the law of the world and its times and how all was and is and must be. The strength is in her that beats everything and masters, and none can prevail in the end against her vast, intangible wisdom and high tranquil power. Equal, patient, and unalterable in her will, she deals with men according to their nature and with things and happenings according to their force and truth, and it is in them. Partiality she has none, but she follows the degrees of supreme, and some she raises up, and some she casts down or puts away from her into the darkness. To the wise, she gives the greater and more luminous wisdom that that have vision, she admits to her counsels. On the hostile, she imposes the consequence of her hostility. The ignorant and the foolish, she leads according to their blindness. In each man, she answers and handles the different elements of his nature according to their need and their urge and the return they call for puts on them and the required pressure or leaves them to their cherished liberty to prosper in the ways of ignorance or to perish. For she is above all bound by nothing, attached to nothing in the universe. Yet has she more than any other the heart of the universal mother. For her compassion is endless and inexhaustible. All are to her eye her children and portions of the one. Even the Asura and Rakshasa and Pishasha and those that are revolted and hostile. Even her rejections are only postponement, even her punishments are the grace. But her compassion does not blind her wisdom or turn her action from the course decreed. For the truth of the things is her one concern, knowledge her center of power, and to build our soul and our nature into the divine truth, her mission and her labor.
Umaji, please read one more. Mahakali
Okay.
also you read.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, starting from here.
Yeah. Mahakali is another nature, not wideness but height, not wisdom but force and strength are her peculiar power. There is in her an overwhelming intensity, a mighty passion of force to achieve a divine violence, rushing to shatter every limit and obstacle. All a divinity leaps out in the splendor of tempest action. She is there for swiftness, for the immediately effective process, the rapid and direct stroke, the frontal assault that carries everything before it. Terrible in her face to the Asura, dangerous and ruthless her mood against the haters of the divine, for she is a warrior of the worlds who never shrinks from the battle. Intolerant of imperfection, she deals roughly with all in man that is unwilling, and she is severe to all that is obstinately ignorant and obscure. Her wrath is immediate and dire against treachery and falsehood and malignity. Ill will is smitten at once by her courage. Indifference, negligence, and sloth in the divine work she cannot bear, and she smites awake at once with sharp pain, if need be, the untimely slumber and the lottery. The impulses that are swift and straight and frank, the moments that are unreserved and absolute, the aspiration that mounts in flame are the motion of Mahakali. Her spirit is stabless, her vision and will are high and far reaching like the flight of an eagle. Her feet are rapid on the upward way, and her hands are outstretched to strike and to succor. For she too is a mother, and her love is as intense as her wrath, and she has a deep and passionate kindness. When she is allowed to intervene in her strength, then in one movement are broken like things without consistence, the obstacles that immobilize or the enemies that assail the seeker. If her anger is dreadful to the hostile and the vehemence of her pressure painful to the weak and timid, she is loved and worshipped by the great, the strong, and the noble, for they feel that her blows beat what is rebellious in their material into the strength and perfect truth. Hammer straight very what is he and preserve and expel what is impure or defective. But for her, what is done in the day, night have taken centuries without our ananda might be wide and grave or soft and sweet and beautiful, but lose the flaming joy of its most absolute intensities. To knowledge, she gives a conquering might, brings to beauty and harmony a high and mounting movement, and imparts to the slow and difficult labor and perfection an impetus that multiplies the power and shortens the long way. Nothing can satisfy her that falls short of the supreme ecstasies, the highest heights, the noblest aims, the largest vistas. Therefore, with her is the victorious force of the divine, and it is by grace of her fire and passion and speed if the great achievement can be done now rather than hereafter.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we read about two aspects of the Divine Mother, Maheshwari, seated above and wide and vast and full of knowledge, and Mahakali with lots of force and strength and power. Now we read about rest of the two powers, which are Mahalakshmi and Mahasaraswati. So Mahalakshmi is the aspect of abundance and prosperity and sweetness and grace, and Mahasaraswati is this exactitude and perfection and details in our work. That is Mahasaraswati. So yes, Taru, do you have the capacity? If you want, you can read the next two aspects.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a second. Yeah, from here, wisdom and force.
Wisdom and force are not the only manifestations of the Supreme Mother. There is a subtler mystery of her nature, and without it, wisdom and force would be incomplete things, and without it, perfection would not be perfect. Above them is the miracle of eternal beauty, an unsizable secret of divine harmonies, the compelling magic of an irresistible universal charm, an attraction that draws and holds things and forces and beings together and obliges them to meet and unite, that a hidden Ananda may play from behind the veil and make of them its rhythms and its figures. This is the power of Mahalakshmi, and there is no aspect of the divine Shakti more attractive to the heart of embodied beings. Maheshwari can appear too calm and great and distant for the littleness of earthly nature to approach or contain her. Mahakali, too swift and formidable for its weakness to bear, but all turn with joy and longing to Mahalakshmi, for she throws the spell of the intoxicating sweetness of the divine. To be close to her is a profound happiness, and to feel her within the heart is to make existence a rapture and a marvel. Grace and charm and tenderness flow out from her like light from the sun, and wherever she fixes her wonderful gaze or lets fall the loveliness of her smile, the soul is seized and made captive and plunged into the depths of an unfathomable bliss. Magnetic is the touch of her hands, and the occult and delicate influence refines mind and life and body, and where she presses her feet, course miraculous streams of an entracing Ananda. And yet, it is not easy to meet the demand of this enchanting power or to keep her presence. Harmony and beauty of the mind and soul, harmony and beauty of the thoughts and feelings, harmony and beauty in every outward act and movement, harmony and beauty of the life and surroundings. This is the demand of Mahalakshmi. Where there is affinity to the rhythms of the secret world bliss and response to the call of the all beautiful and concord and unity and the glad flow of many lives turn towards the divine, in that atmosphere she consents to abide. But all that is ugly and mean and base, all that is poor and sordid and squalid, all that is brutal and coarse repulse her advent. Where love and beauty are not, or are reluctant to be born, she does not come. Where they are mixed and disfigured with baser things, she turns soon to depart, or cares little to pour her riches. If she finds herself in men's hearts surrounded with selfishness and hatred and jealousy and malignance and envy and strife, if treachery and greed and ingratitude are mixed in the sacred chalice, if grossness of passion and unrefined desire degrade devotion, in such hearts the gracious and beautiful goddess will not linger. A divine disgust seizes upon her and she withdraws, for she is not one who insists on stripes or veiling her face. She waits for this bitter and poisonous devil stuff to be rejected and disappear before she will found anew her happy influence. Ascetic bareness and harshness are not pleasing to her, nor the suppression of the heart's deeper emotions and the rigid repression of the soul's and the life's parts of beauty. For it is through love and beauty that she lays on men the yoke of the divine. Life is turned in her supreme creations into a rich work of celestial art, and all existence into a poem of sacred delight. The world's riches are brought together and concerted for a supreme order, and even the simplest and commonest things are made wonderful by her intuition of unity and the breath of her spirit. Admitted to the heart, she lifts wisdom to pinnacles of wonder and reveals to it the mystic secrets of the ecstasy that surpasses all knowledge, meets devotion with the passionate attraction of the divine, teaches to strength and force the rhythm that keeps the might of their acts harmonious, and in measure and casts on perfection the charm that makes it endure forever. Mahasaraswati is the mother's power of work and her spirit of perfection and order. The youngest of the four, she is the most skillful in executive faculty and the nearest to the physical nature. Maheshwari lays down the large lines of the world forces. Mahakali drives their energy and impetus. Mahalakshmi discovers their rhythms and measures. But Mahasaraswati presides over the detail of organization and execution, relation of parts and effective combination of forces, and unfailing exactitudes of result and fulfillment. The science and craft and technique of things are Maheshwari's province. Always she holds in her nature and can give to those whom she has chosen the intimate and precise knowledge, the subtlety and patience, the accuracy of intuitive mind and conscious hand and discerning eye of the perfect worker. This power is the strong, the tireless, the careful and efficient builder, organizer, administrator, technician, artisan, and classifier of the world. When she takes up the transformation and new building of the nature, her action is laborious and minute and minute, and often seems to our impatience slow and interminable, but it is persistent, integral, and flawless. For the will in her works is scrupulous, unsleeping, indefatigable, leaning over us. She notes and touches every little detail, finds out every minute defect, gap, twist, or incompleteness, considers and weighs accurately all that has been done and all that remains still to be done hereafter. Nothing is too small or apparently trivial for her attention. Nothing, however impalpable or disguised or latent, can escape her. Molding and remolding, she labors each part till it has attained its true form, is put in its exact place in the whole, and fulfills its precise purpose. In her constant and diligent arrangement and rearrangement of things, her eye is on all needs at once and the way to meet them, and her intuition knows what is to be chosen and what rejected, and successfully determines the right instrument, the right time, the right conditions, and the right processes. Carelessness and negligence and indolence she abhors. All scammed and hasty and shuffling work, or clumsiness and abupress and misfire, all false adaptation and misuse of instruments and faculties, and leaving of things undone or half done is offensive and foreign to her temper. When her work is finished, nothing has been forgotten, no part has been misplaced or omitted or left in a faulty condition. All is solid, accurate, complete, admirable. Nothing short of a perfect perfection satisfies her, and she is ready to face an eternity of toil if that is needed for the fullness of her creation. Therefore, of all the mother's powers, she is the most long suffering with man and his thousand imperfections. Kind, smiling, close, and helpful, not easily turned away or discouraged, insistent even after repeated failure, her hand sustains our every step on condition that we are single in our will and straightforward and sincere. For a double mind she will not tolerate, and her revealing irony is merciless to drama and histrionics, and self-deceit and pretense. A mother to our wants, a friend in our difficulties, a persistent and tranquil counselor and mentor, chasing away with her radiant smile the clouds of gloom and fretfulness and depression, reminding always of the ever present help pointing to the eternal sunshine. She is firm, quiet, and persevering in the deep and continuous urge that drives us towards the integrality of the higher nature. All the work of the other powers leans on her for its completeness. For she assures the material foundation, elaborates the stuff of detail, and erects and reverts the armor of the structure.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So we stop here the reading for today. And whatever we just read, it has everything that we need in more than one lifetime, I think, to work upon and to continue working upon and opening ourselves to more and more to the divine. So if there are any last thoughts or reflections we can take, else we end with a silent dedication. Not really silent, we'll share something and then we end. Anything anyone wants to add on? Okay, so we just share, dedicate all the merit of collective reading, reflections, understandings, all the goodness, even the individual merits that we may have, sharing it with all the sentient beings, near and far, all of us wanting always light and happiness, not wanting suffering. May we all not suffer, may we all open ourselves more and more towards the light and truth. May there be light inside and outside for all is one. Yes, we stop here today. Thank you everyone for showing up and
Thank
thank you
you.
for the readings. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Monica.
you. Thank you. Happy
Asato
Diwali.
ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya.
Yes. Thank you.